Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay,
Waalaikumsalam
in this
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
opportunity to depth about the title, under the title, Degeneration of National Leaders. Okay, I begin. Leadership literally comes from the word lead. The word lead implies direction, directing, foresting or managing, guiding, and also showing of influencing. Leadership is a very important factor in a country because most of its successes and failure depend on this leadership. The leader has responsibility both physically, spiritually for the success of the work activities of those who are lead. So that being a leader is not easy and not everyone will have the same thing in carrying out their leadership. In Indonesia and their leadership.
Okay, thank you. I know that Indonesian leaders is a very important factor in a country, and they also play a very important role for the Indonesian people. Being a leader means being ready to be an example for the people that you lead. That's why leaders must have good traits and attitudes. As for the good nature and attitude that must be honest and can be trusted, can innovate and provide motivation, take responsibility for what you say or do, have a good communication and insightful, but do the current leaders of the nation have the qualities I mentioned before? In fact, the leaders also make quite fatal mistakes several times which doesn't reflect the nature and attitude of a leader. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. In Indonesia, there have been 7 presidents who have led Indonesia, and the following are the leadership style of Indonesian state leader from the time of to time. The first president of Indonesia is Soekarno. Soekarno is the first president of Indonesia. Is also known with the explosive temperament, but is able to transit this great actionist to others. The second president of Indonesia is Suharto. Suharto laid the foundation for developing in Indonesia through Krep Pelita during his reign. And third president is PJ Habibie. PJ Habibie is the first human not only in Indonesia but also in the world. And the fourth uh, president is Gus Dur. Gus Dur has a charismatic attitude without an violence and military pressure. And the fifth president is Megawati. Megawati is a calm person with personality that tend to be closed. The second, the, the sixth president is SBA. SBA is a democratic leader. In making decision, always invite several representatives of his subordinates. The seventh president is Jokowi. Jokowi has been be able to begin to even out exciting development in Indonesia. Okay, thank you.
Okay. I know that kind of president, but being a leader must have a responsible nature. But reported by Republika.co.id states that our current leader Joko Widodo has relinquished his responsibility for the mistake he made by saying that Bung Karno was born in Blitar, not in Surabaya. This became the subject of ridicule because it was judged that they didn't understand history. The leader must also speak the truth and be able to hold what he says. Still reported from republika.co.id, Jokowi made regarding his policy that he wouldn't increase fuel price if he was elected President of the Republic of Indonesia, he said at the time. But in fact, he repeatedly raised fuel price when world oil prices fell. Jokowi stated in a speech at the ASEAN African Conference at the end of April that Indonesia still owed the IMF 2.79 billion. In fact, Jokowi's statement was denied by Yusuf Kala and Bambang Bojonegoro, and also the sixth Indonesian president, Susilo Bambang Yudhoyono, even clarified that Indonesia's debt to the IMF had been paid off. Thank you.
Okay. For a nation that is facing many difficulties like Indonesia today, the presence of good leaders is very important. Good leaders, for example, which priorities service responsibility to the people. So that's providing good example and examples will be able to encourage people to work sincerely. This will increase perform and productivity public. Of course, it cannot be denied that national development also requires technically and managerially capable leader. What to say in this paper in April for more good leaders to be present in all levels of society, starting at the neighbor level to the national level, including informal leaders. Thank you.
Okay, we should avoid it as much as possible. Another fatal mistake, like he claimed to have conveyed a message from the president of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky, to president of Russia, Vladimir Putin, etc. The things I mentioned earlier explain how the degeneration of national leaders in Indonesia. To become a developed country, it requires leaders who are ready to lead a country. A good leader must have exemplary traits that can be a good example for society. If leaders has let go of responsibility, then don't tell the truth, can't help their word, and have bad communication and don't have broad insight, it can still be a leader. So that's all from me. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, that's all for us. Assalamualaikum